From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Happy Friday, world. It's the one and only Pop DBICD PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And last night, the Warriors wound up winning their fourth championship in the last 7 years. Big moment for the Bay Area last night. Once again, now they get the bragging rights of saying that they are the world champions and everything like that. Something that only a few teams have pulled off in the last 75 years of the NBA, Celtics being one of them, Lakers are one of them, the Bulls are one of them as well, too. You can also throw the could you throw the Spurs in there? Okay, Spurs 99. Yeah. You can throw the Spurs in there as well, too, because I'm thinking back to their reign from 2007. They had one in 2003, 2004, and 99. So if that's in an 8-year stretch, that was 4 and 8 years. So they kind of are in that group as well. They're in that group as well, too. So that's just greatness in itself. And they have stamped themselves as the team of the 20, I would say. The team, I wouldn't say the 20. It's crazy because I think we might have our first decade where it wasn't about the team. It was more about the player, the 2010s with LeBron going to 8 straight finals in that point in time. That was pretty incredible in itself. So, you got to kind of put that into fruition as well, too. But you have this team that has went to 6 finals in the last 8 years, okay? And they have done a great job. You know what I mean? They're 4-2 in the finals as well. Losing to the Raptors and losing to the Cavs as well too. But you know what? It's like they had to make up for it. You know what I mean? Losing that series to the Raptors that literally a lot of people did not have them losing. But they're just very unfortunate in that situation. You had Klay Thompson go down with his injury, ACL injury. Then you also had Durant go down with his injury as well, too. That pretty much ruined everything for him. Even though they still fought and still tried their best, they still weren't able to get to their goal. But all in all, the Warriors, great efforts last night. I know that we were very heavy on Draymond Green throughout this whole process, him not showing up in certain games. But when the game mattered most, the championship game, he did what he always done since he's been at Michigan State. He shows up for those games, and he made sure that he put it all on the floor last night. And let me give you the moment when I knew that they were about to win this game is that when they were talking to each other, right at the end of the first quarter, it was Curry and Green talking to each other, and they were on the Boston side of the ball talking to each other, walking. They had stopped walking to their sideline real quick and had a quick conversation, and then they slapped hands and embraced. And I said, oh shit, they pretty much said that we got him and we're about to run them out this gym tonight. And that's exactly what they did, because then they stepped as soon as the quarter started, they hit them with a 10-0 run. So all in all, a 21-0 run pretty much went ahead and dissipated that game. The Celtics jumped out to a 14-2 lead. And so when you look at everything, when it's all said and done, they got outscored 101-79 to close out the game. So there it is, pretty much, after that point. So, yeah, the Warriors went ahead and took care of their business last night. Let me tell you who I thought was very instrumental as well, too, in the last 3 games was Gary Payton Jr. It was absolutely incredible, and I know that he's going to get a lot of news time, a lot of airtime for what he did as well, too. Jordan Poole was pretty big with the big three-pointers as well, but I think that the guy that really stepped up and stepped out was going to be is Wiggins. It's just incredible to see that Wiggins has finally did something in the NBA. He was always a decent player, a good player, But it's good to see a guy like that who had big potential, big talent, go ahead and be a instrumental piece to them winning this championship as well too. And I would say this: I would say that he replaced Harrison Barnes somewhat. That's what they always forget about Harrison Barnes, who was a part of the first Warriors championship team. And he was a part of the actual build up to the Warriors as well too. It was 4 of them, but Harrison Barnes went to Dallas. He went and took the money. All the good stuff. So hey, it is what it is. And now he's in Sacramento. But I know he wish he would have been able to just take lesser of a cut and stuck around a little bit. Don't you think? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But big win for the Warriors last night. And I'm telling you, man, it's just incredible to see when teams can be this successful for this long. And they were able to do it in a different form than they did the first 3 times. The first time I wouldn't say they had a super team, but the Warriors were very fortunate to get a lot of the really good free agents that summer when they got Andrew Iguodala, David Lee, who never really showed up, but because of a foot injury. But then they had other guys on the team like Fasili and Sean Livingston and things like that, and things worked out pretty well. It was kind of a redemption team and a team full of shooters, and Steve Kerr just got him at the right time. And then the other 2 were pretty much won by Durant. Durant was the person that puts him over the top for both of those championships because they needed him to beat a LeBron like that. And then this one right here was just the first one I seen where it's like this was really about the 3. Curry, Thompson, and Green. You know what I mean? So this was about those 3 guys who were here from the days where they were just a good try-hard team to where they're at now. And I think that this possibly could be the final chapter in this book as well too. I really see one of these 3 guys not being a part of this team next season. And I know Curry's safe, but Thompson or Green may be on the way out. I hate to say it, but they do have replacements for those guys. But let's go ahead and keep things positive. Let's talk about Steph Curry. Steph Curry last night, he really impressed me last night with winning the MVP, but he was going to win MVP regardless. I even think if the Celtics won the series, you had to give Steph MVP. Steph was averaging 35 points per game in the series. He had a 43-point game as well, too. That was absolutely incredible. That actually pretty much was the defining game of the series, because it easily could have been 3-1, but Curry was able to get the series tied, get the momentum back over to the Warriors, and then he didn't have a great game 5, and then stepped it up in game 6 to make sure that he was going to do everything in his power to make sure his team won that game last night. And that's what I was telling my friend earlier. It didn't matter if Tatum or Brown got like 50 points. They were going to lose this game because the Warriors had an answer for everything last night. Boston hits a 3, they hit a 3. And they got up double digits and they never looked back. They just knew that they could not let this team get any closer than, say, 9-8 points. Because if they let them get any closer than that, they could possibly lose the game. And I don't think that they were going to be able to win Sunday. I know I picked Boston and everything. I know I'm kind of being biased, but I think that this was the game that they had to win. They would have been gassed going back to San Francisco. And they're the older team, so they needed this. So Curry, absolutely insane moment last night. He was crying and everything like that. I know that he's been going through a lot as well too. So that was a lot of emotion in general that was just flowing out, and I'm not going to talk about what he's going through because, that's the job of social media, but that's a very personal situation. And when your family's been the poster for, great families and positive things, and then something kind of shady and kind of, funny like that happens, it kind of throws a damper on the things. But Steph was able to sift through all that, and he's able to get himself another ring and then his first MVP as well too. And people say, well, now he's top 10. Well, I would say this: Curry is a guy that you don't have to keep explaining his importance to basketball, in my opinion. We know that Curry did something that nobody expected him to do. That's why Curry's so loved and so hated at the same time. But Curry is a guy that it was able to help the NBA keep going. And the NBA has really been trying to jump off the face of LeBron James. They're about 5 years overdue of finding a new face of the NBA. And they just could never really do it with Steph, but they could do it with Steph's team. Now Steph can possibly have a year or two to where now the respect is there. But I really do think that this right here was the pinnacle moment for the Warriors. This was one of those championships where you can get the idea that this team, this could be it. You know what I mean? This should be it, to be honest with you, because Steph's been in the league 14 years. Clay's been in the league 14 years. Draymond's been in the league 14 years. At some point, you're going to get tired. And I don't think that they have the same durability as LeBron does, in a sense, because you know that all these guys have had really nagging injuries and things like that. So I really, truly think that this was the best Warriors championship I've seen out the four that they got. Seriously, it didn't feel like anybody else helped you get to the finish line. It felt like these three guys had to be so integral and they had to be great leaders for them to win this championship. And that's exactly what they did last night. And Curry gets his finals MVP. And it did hit a little different because the face of the franchise finally showed up as the lead dog for the championship. It wasn't, now you can't say he had help, you know what I mean, for this championship. And I don't think, and it's a team. You're supposed to have help. Everybody wants every superstar to be a hero, and it just doesn't work like that. Jordan and Kobe put a bad perception on being a superstar. You know, being a superstar sometimes doesn't mean that you're the one scoring all the buckets. Sometimes you're the guy who's passing the ball, making sure everybody else is looking good on the court, or the guy who's playing exceptional defense and getting all the rebounds, getting all the blocks. There's different elements that go into this thing. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Curry gets his MVP, and he shuts up people that just want to talk. We all know that Curry's been a great basketball player, two-time NBA MVP, countless years of leading the league in three-point makes and three-point percentage and all that good stuff. Tons of awards, tons of just accolades in the NBA. He's a good guy for the community. So you know what? Kudos to Steph Curry for being himself and for being what he has to be, and being very fortunate that this team believed in themselves enough to get to this point. Because you have to understand, they used to be a joke. Like, people used to be like, well, they can score a lot of points, but they can't play any defense. And once they figured out how to play defense, like I always tell people, the Warriors would be one of the more dangerous teams in the league. They figured out how to play some defense. Now they're sitting here as the top team in the NBA for the fourth time in the last 7 years. Yes, we can call them a dynasty somewhat, but the thing is, at the end of the day, they're still going to be questioned because a lot of people just were never into this team. And this is what happens when you're in a smaller market. Now, Oakland is in California, but you know that when it comes to all four of the teams other than Sacramento, that, you know, it's always about LA. You know what I mean? Now they're in San Francisco. The Warriors have became way more popular in the last decade or so. When I was coming up, the Warriors were not. The Warriors had one point in time, it was Mullen, Hardaway, Sprewell, those guys, yeah, whatever. But when Curry got here, everybody had this idea that eventually we would be able to win a championship. And when Klay Thompson came, they didn't care how long it took. They was going to get themselves a ring. And those guys became so good that other guys in the NBA latched on and wanting to be a part of that unit and wanted to be a part of a unit that just went out and played basketball. So there it is. There it is. Once again, congratulations to Steph Curry on winning the MVP last night. Much deserved. And let's go ahead and talk about the Celtics and the Celtics' bright future that lies ahead somewhat, I guess. But thing is, though, Celtics, you know, the future is very bright. Even after this crushing loss and everything like that, you had Brown scored 34 points last night. First time he scored 20 points, and they did over 20 points, and they didn't win the game. Jason Tatum was not anywhere to be found last night. He scored 13 points. That was pretty much what did the Celtics in last night, to be honest with you, is that they just didn't have anybody show up. And I think that it wasn't that Tatum got stage fright. I think that they threw some great defense on Tatum. And I think that he was overthinking a little bit last night. And that's exactly what happens when you overthink. So I think that all in all, it's a good learning lesson once again for the Celtics. They don't want to become those Celtics where they keep coming up short in these big moments, because the Celtics are used to winning championships, man. And their last 3 out of 4 championships that they went to, they lost. All right. They lost to the Lakers. They lost. Well, hold up. They're 2-2 in their last 4. But let's just say this. They lost their last 2 out of 3. Okay. They lost to the Lakers twice, and they lost now to the Warriors. Okay. And you got to understand the Lakers. These finals are 10 years. One of the finals was about 25 years apart from one, and the other one was about 10 years apart from 12 years apart from the last one. So the Celtics have been in 3 championships in the last 37 years. So can they become a consistent unit that gets them back to the championship every year? We will see. Hopefully you get Al Horford back next year, somewhat being at least the same player he was this season. And then you will have to look at bringing in more athleticism off the bench, more guys off the bench that can help your starting 5. You know what I mean? But I think that the Celtics, all in all, just needed that game 4 badly. They needed that confidence that they would be up 3-1. They could have blew 2 games in a row and came back and tried to win game 7, things of that nature. But once that happened, they gave the Warriors some confidence. The Warriors weren't very confident in this series until after that game 4 when Curry had that 43 points. And I think that kind of in the sense that it got Boston a little scared after that point to where, can we even stop Curry? Because Curry's going for almost 30 each game at that point. So I think that there's going to have to be some questions answered. And I think that they need to stop talking about trading Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown is the Mr. Celtic, and I think that Jason Tatum is the guy is thinking about where his next destination is going to be. But if you're smart, you pay both of them. You do. You got to. Because I think that this duo can, when it's all said and done, can be one of the best guard 4 duos to ever do it. Wing duos, because they're wings. So pretty much they could be the best to ever do it now. Do the Celtics need a true point guard? Possibly. But they kind of run a system just like the Bulls. You just got to have somebody who knows how to manage the team. But if they did get themselves, say, a Chris Paul, this could be a team that could win a championship next season. Chris Paul would love to play for a team like this one. And it's funny, in all the years Chris Paul's been in the league, he's never played in the Eastern Conference. So this might be something that you guys can look at, but I think Chris Paul is about done. But if he would have played with a team, say, like the Celtics, he wouldn't have had all that pressure that he had in Phoenix. He could have been able to be easy and do what he had to do. So that's just a name to throw out there that maybe they could possibly get a guy like that to come around, not to be the Chris Paul that he was, but just to be a guy who's a good vocal leader and can help these guys get over the top. But all in all, the Celtics should be very proud of themselves. They got to the finals. They competed. They looked good. They had an opportunity to win the finals. Just things didn't go their way. So experience over talent. That's exactly what the situation was. And the Celtics will be back. Hopefully next season they'll be playing my Lakers, and the Lakers can go ahead and give them a back-to-back losing situation. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because Boston has never lost back-to-back finals. So that's something that you can put in place as well too. So there it is. There it is. Now let's go ahead and talk about Steve Kerr. Now, Steve Kerr, an all-time great in this league. Yeah, when it comes down to winning championships and everything like that and shooting three-pointers, but is he one of the great all-time coaches? I would say not yet. Maybe if he gets a fifth one. I think that the biggest thing with Steve Kerr is that he was very fortunate to get a team that was already built and that had already built a style of play and a chemistry. I just think that Mark Jackson got a little bit besides himself and became way too much of a tyrant for that team to not finish up as their coach. Now, if he doesn't do any of that, Mark Jackson might be the one that's getting all these accolades and everything right now. But I say this at the same time too, though. That's not necessarily true either. I think that Steve Kerr was the exact remedy that they needed. Steve Kerr had the same persona as the top players. He was a shooter. So he understood how this team needed to approach the game. So he put half of the knowledge that he knew with the Bulls and half the knowledge that he knew with the Spurs. He literally has put the two game plans together, two of the best coaches that have ever walked the floor. One being Phil Jackson, the other being Greg Popovich. So it's almost like if they had a kid, it would be Steve Kerr. Now, I'm not going to say he's on their level or anything like that because they weren't blessed with great shooters, but they were both blessed with generational talent with, Michael Jordan on the Bulls, Tim Duncan, and, it wasn't a young David Robinson, but he did have Dave a little young, but he called Dave when Dave got hurt for the first time as well too. But he had both those guys as well too. But we'll say that more Tim Duncan than anything, right? Because when Tim Duncan got there, they started winning championships. So you got those players intact. So I think that both those coaches were very fortunate that they had the rosters that they had, but they knew how to work those rosters. See, you can be a good coach and win championships with a very great team, but if you don't win consistent championships, it was the team more than you. But if you win consistent championships for a team that needed just a little bit more to get over the top, then you can be considered one of the all-time great coaches. But I just say, give me one more, Steve. That's all I say is give me one more. And maybe give me one more without one of the Splash Brothers as well, too. But I think that all in all, they got a great coaching staff as is, and they've never played it up to where Steve has been like the general of the team. Steve has always just been their head coach. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Congratulations to Steve Kerr once again on winning the NBA Finals for the fourth time as a head coach. And now this time he'll be now in his 9 championships in total. So this is his 4th ring as a coach, 5 as a player. So, hey, it is what it is, Steve Kerr. You've had a great – since 1996, you've had a pretty great run, man. That's a 26-year run, and that's 9 titles in that 26 years. So that's incredible. That is incredible. If he wanted to go ahead and quit the NBA today, nobody would probably have a problem with that because, hey, he's lived a great NBA life. But all in all, I know he's going to want to come back for some more. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when I do get back, we will go ahead and get into some baseball. I'm so excited about baseball this season. Baseball has been fun to watch. So you guys make sure to stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So pretty much we got the Dodgers, Blue Crew Daily, and we got the Dodgers going against the Guardians this weekend for the first time ever. The first time ever with the name Guardians. So pretty much this should be a lot of fun this weekend watching that game. But the Dodgers definitely do need to win this series because they are now a half a game behind the Padres. It's not that the Padres have more wins than them. No, they do have more wins than them, but they have a one loss more than the Dodgers. So that's why it's a half a game because they've been playing a lot. The Dodgers have had some breaks. So it happens. The Dodgers are only playing 5 times this week. They were off Monday and Thursday this week. And, quick homestand and everything like that after a struggle in San Francisco of all places. Like, why? Why San Francisco of all places, fellas? You know what I mean? So they struggled there. Came back, swept the Angels real quick. Only gave up a run, too, while they were at it in that series. Wound up 2 games, 6-1 overall. So the Dodgers pitching came back down to earth. The hitting is still kind of what's going on, fellas. You know what I mean? Because the hitting seems a little down right now because I watched one game one night and they had the bases loaded multiple times and still couldn't get anybody home. So the Dodgers really do need to figure that part out. You know what I mean? They really need to figure out what's going on in the hitting department. Do they need to make some changes in the lineup? But, Edwin Rios is out on IR. He was a guy who was pretty good with the bat at this moment. So, the Dodgers, I'm not too worried about it right now. I think because I know that the Padres are a really hot team. So they're just playing hot baseball right now. So I think with this series right here, the Dodgers, as long as they can win this series, things should not be that difficult moving forward. But all in all, we know that you don't win the division now. You win the division at the end of September. And the Dodgers should not be worried about it, but they will be flying to Cincinnati next week. They're going to be what it looks like. The Dodgers will be on a 9-game road trip after they get done with the Guardians. They'll be playing Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Colorado. Then they end the month back at the Ravine on the 30th, playing against the Padres. So this next 13-game stretch is pretty important, but it's not that big of a deal. But they do need to make sure they try to finish above 500. So in this situation, it'd be great to see the Dodgers finish, say, 9-4 for the month, but we'll have to see. But they got 4 games against the Padres to start July, and then they have the Rockies, and then they have the Cubs as well too. So they're going to play 11 games at home at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. So right now, Dodgers in their next 20 games, they kind of even out. They almost got 10 on the road, and they got 9 on the road coming up and 11 at home coming up. But then they also have 3 coming up this weekend. So they got 14 games at home, 9 on the road in the next 25 days. Okay. So I think that all in all, this is going to be something that's good for the Dodgers. This is a very important stretch for them because they do have teams that they should beat up on, and then they have the Padres. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the Dodgers do start a 3-game series today with the Guardians. And you guys have to know one thing. We do have Kershaw on the mound tonight going against Plesac, and they are a monster favorite tonight. So when I see the Dodgers being like a minus 270, 280, I would say, why don't you take the other team with the plus 1.5? The Dodgers have not been good at the stadium a lot of times as a big favorite here at this point of the season in a matchup like this. So you could take the Guardians today, but I would say anything, take the under. That's probably going to be the best play of the night for anybody is the under in the Dodger game. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But there it is. There it is. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the MLB's best matchups of the weekend in my book. Well, the best prices, the best MLB weekend best prices. Now, our first price that I have here is going to be a good one. This is going to be the Giants and the Pirates this weekend, and I have the Pirates winning the series because I really do feel that the Pirates will pull off the same thing that they did against the Dodgers and go ahead and sweep out the Giants or beat them 2 out of 3. So I like the way that, I know you'll look at me and say, well, the Pirates aren't playing that good at baseball when they played it. No, they were playing 500 for baseball when they got to the Dodgers, but They just got to win. Yeah, they were not doing good the last few weeks. They lost 9 in a row, after winning 3 out of 4 to start the month. So pretty much they've only won 4 times this month. I know that, hey, man, then why would you take them? Because this is a series where people are going to, where they can do some surprises, because I think that they'll just overbet them this weekend. I think that they're going to be good. They can be good against Rodon this weekend, and they can be good against Alex Wood this weekend. So that can be 2 wins right there, because I think that they have the pitchers in place to where the Pirates can take advantage of that. So I love the Pirates with the plus 200 this weekend to win the series. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But plus 200, let's see if we can get ourselves some dollars with this value right here. So there it is. There it is. We move on to the Cubs and the Braves. Cubs and Braves. This is a fun one because you got a Braves team that's just been awesome. Braves have just been too much for anybody lately. So, you tell yourself, you hope to yourself that, hey, can they slow down just a little bit? I don't know if they're going to slow down. This team is trying to catch the Mets right now, and they know that they can't mess around. You know what I mean? They got to make sure the Mets know that they are right there and they are something to deal with. Now, the Braves game for the day did start. I'm very sorry about that, but you can still play series prices and things like that. I forgot that this game was starting pretty early today. So that one right there, we got a minus 190 on the series price. If you can still do series price on this one, I would say do it. You know what I mean? But most likely you can't. So I'm sorry about that this one came in late. But I like the Cubs to take care of their business this weekend and get the minus 190 here. Not the Cubs, the Braves to take care of their business and get the minus 190. This team. Okay, I'm over here trying to see if they won that 15th in a row last night. Real quick. And yeah, they've won 15 games in a row, dominated in that effort as well too. So they're shooting for 16 today. So I think that they can get 2 out of 3 this weekend in the series, and we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it checks out. But this should be a damn good series for the Cubs this weekend, for the Braves this weekend, because it's like right on time for them. You know what I mean? So there it is. There it is. All right. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about another really good series today. That's a good series for the weekend, and that's going to be these two, the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And I like the Yankees on the road this weekend to win this series, because I know a lot of people are going to really like the Blue Jays a lot, because it seems like they got the Yankees number, but the Yankees are well ahead of them in the standings as well too. So, the Yankees are a very confident team this year. They got the best record in baseball. They looking like the Yankees this year. So, they got guys contributing that they didn't think were going to contribute like that. Matt Carpenter has a 286 batting average right now. That's been key. And they got a lot of guys with high batting averages. And Aaron Judge batting over 300 this year. That's damn good in itself. And he's already hit out this year. He's been absolutely insane. 25 home runs this year. We're nowhere near the All-Star break. So that guy's having himself a season right now. Now, where's Stanton at? I'm trying to figure out where's Stanton at. Stanton's got 13 home runs on a year too, but they are just destroying that ball this year, though. Him and Judge this season. So, that's something to look forward to if you're the Yankees. But, when I look at this series as well too, you got the Yankees, Blue Jays. Tonight you got Montgomery, Stripling on the mound. You favor Montgomery a little bit more in that matchup because he's getting a little bit more strikeouts, a little bit more ERA as well too. Only 2-1. On the season, though. So, but Stripling's only 3-1. But then you look up and you say to yourself, okay, what do we do with the next game for this series? Now, you do have yourself a pretty good pitching matchup with Tolleson and Manoah. So that one will probably have a big favoritism going to the Jays, because Manoah is seen as a Cy Young candidate. Jameson Taillon is actually stepping it up, and he's still recovering from that Pittsburgh era as well too, where he wasn't that great, but he's been pitching lights out. 7-1 this year, 2.93 ERA, 52 strikeouts over 7 walks this year, so that's pretty damn good. But Manoah's 68 over 14 though, 68 Ks over 14 walks. So, the Jays do get a little bit of favoritism. They are the second best team when it comes to batting average as well too. So this should be a really, really good series, really good game. For Saturday, I think it'll be a heavy bet on the Blue Jays. And then Sunday, we got Garrett Cole and Kikuchi. This one can go 50-50, but Kikuchi's not pitching the way that he did in Seattle last season. Garrett Cole's having a Garrett Cole type season, already had 91 strikeouts, over 18 walks this year, 3.3 ERA, 6-1 win-loss record on the year as well too. So the Yankees, to me, it's like looks very simple that they can get a 2 out of 3 of these. I know that you don't get the plus on here, but you will get yourself, you just got to put up a dime on the minus, and I think you'll be all right. So it is what it is at the end of the day. We move forward to another series that I have in an upset form, and this is another home team that's going to be the dog this weekend. I like the White Sox going into this because the Astros always seem not to play that well against teams when they're highly favored. So I think that with this one, and actually, I'm so sorry, you got the White Sox at the Astros as well too. So I knew that too, and they kept like for a second, it kept showing me Astros, White Sox, but no, it's going to be the White Sox at the Astros. Sorry about that. So it doesn't matter. I'm still going to go ahead and take the White Sox with the plus 210 because really this is when you really whoop up on them, and I think that. Tonight you got Giolito on the mound. Giolito was one of the better pitchers in the MLB last year. He's 70 strikeouts over 22 walks, and then you also have him with a 4-2 record. Now, the ERA is probably what they're looking at because it's 3.88 on the year compared to Valdez's 2.64, 6-3 on the season, but he's 61 strikeouts over 28 walks. So this right here, I think, will work out in our favor, to be honest. I think that this one could be the Sox can win today and tomorrow, and then they can cash your ticket out for you today and tomorrow if they're able to take care of that business for you. Could possibly sweep this weekend as well too. Just shock the system a little bit because the Astros are playing really good baseball right now, and when you're playing really good baseball and you have a team that's not as good as you, that can be a letdown weekend for you because you're not looking at that team in a sense that they can beat you. So we'll see how it goes, but I do love the plus 210 here in this spot. And that's going to be the White Sox and the Astros right there for us. And I think that we're on to something here with that one as well, too. So you guys, I'm telling you right now, I think that, we had to go ahead and talk about the weekend series in the MLB because that's something very specific to talk about. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into talking tickets. And talking tickets, couldn't wait to do this today. So we got our talking ticket segment today. And I think that we're on to something pretty good today. We got WNBA and the MLB today. So up first, let's go ahead and get into the WNBA. I got the Storm tonight. I know that they're a little shorthanded, but I think that they can step it up against the Sun, the defending champion. I'm going to take the Storm with the plus 7.5 tonight. They are one of the top teams in the Western Conference, even when some of their players are out, as long as they have Sue Bird there and Jewel Lloyd there, I think they should be fine. So we'll see how this one goes, but I do like them with the plus 7.5 tonight we'll see how it goes. A possible upset tonight straight up as well, too. So, they got some value to them. And then I like the under 157.5 tonight with the Dream and the Sky. The Dream are not playing that great of basketball this season. When have they ever played great basketball? But they're really not good this season. And the Sky, the defending champions, everybody's so excited about them. So I think that they can get the under 157.5 tonight. And then we have the Mercury tonight. Mercury coming in here. They've been struggling, but I think that this is a spot that they'll probably get over that is ripe for them to get a big win. Dallas to me doesn't merit a team that should be a 5-point favorite. They're not that good. Even if the Mercury are not that good of a team at this point right now with no Brittany Griner, I think that with this, I think they can go ahead and possibly get themselves a nice win tonight with this one. That's why I'm taking them with the plus 210, and we have the 9-1 in the WNBA tonight. So let's go ahead and talk about the MLB real quick. We got the Orioles plus 130 tonight. I really do like the Orioles tonight with the plus 130. My Dowga today. And then we have the over 9.5 with the Yankees and the Jays. I think this could be a good one as well, too. Then we have the under 9.5 with the Phillies and the Nats. And then we also have the Cardinals money line minus 105. And then we have the Rockies with the plus 1.5 tonight as well, too, at home versus the Padres. And then we have the Twins on the road tonight with the minus 1.5. So we got a 72-1 ticket. I think that this ticket will be something that could be good for us. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it shakes out. And, as usual, baby, talking tickets and you know how it goes. So it's Friday. We got a 72-1 ticket. We got a 9-1 ticket. So we're sitting in good shape right now. So, it is what it is. But once again, I want to wish everybody a happy Friday. Never frown on a Friday. That's all I can say. Get your spirits up. It's the end of the week. If you work a tough job, you know that you ain't got to go to it tomorrow, most likely. So, just keep your spirits up. It's Friday, baby. Everything, always good things happening on Fridays as well, too. Just bad things happen every day, but always keep your head up a little bit higher on Friday, because Friday just tells you it's gonna be all right, kids. You made it through the week. All right, so with that, I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I know that we only had 2 shows this week, but we should be back on Monday. No, baseball daily, talking about that and also talk about what's going on in the world of sports. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. All right, so I want to go ahead and send a quick shout out to some partners of mine, Cold Blue Vodka. What's going on? We're working on a big event right now. And then shout out to my ECSI fam, the man, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. Also want to send a big shout out to the team out there in Vegas, TTMG, everybody over at the Mayweather Boxing Club and everything like that. Just want to send a big shout out to the fam over there as well, too. So, hey, it is what it is. And I am the Primetime Kappa Pop DiBiase, and this is the premier sports bet show, the Primetime Angles. As I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.